Right now, without logging in anywhere, without anyone's permission, you could look up exactly how much Bitcoin someone sent, where it came from, and where it went. Any transaction, any amount. Going back to the very first block in 2009. And here's what that means for you. Every transaction you've ever sent or received is on there too. Permanently. Visible to anyone. Most people have no idea this is possible. And once you know how to read it, Bitcoin stops being abstract. It becomes something you can actually see and verify yourself. I'm Sats, and today we're making Bitcoin transactions actually make sense. Let's keep it simple. Let's start with something that surprises most people the first time they hear it. Bitcoin is not private in the way most people assume. Every transaction is recorded permanently on the blockchain. And because the blockchain is a public ledger, anyone can look it up. Every transaction, every amount, every address involved. Now, before that makes you nervous, here's the important part. What's public is the transaction, the addresses, the amounts, the timestamp. What's not attached to any of that is your name or your identity. Bitcoin addresses are pseudonymous, not anonymous. Your address is visible. Who owns that address is not, unless you've connected it to your identity somewhere else, like an exchange that verified your details. Think of it like a P.O. box. Anyone can send things to it and anyone can see the box number. Nobody knows who collects from it. Okay, so how do you actually look up a transaction? The tool you need is called a block explorer. It's a website that lets you search the entire Bitcoin blockchain. Think of it like a search engine, but for every transaction ever recorded. The most commonly used one is mempool.space. Free, accurate, and what most Bitcoin users rely on. To search a transaction, you need a transaction ID, also called a TXID. It's a long string of letters and numbers that uniquely identifies your transaction, like a digital receipt. When you send Bitcoin from a wallet or exchange, you'll get one as confirmation. Here's what I'd recommend. Open mempool.space in a browser right now if you want this to properly click. Paste in any Bitcoin address or TXID and see what comes up. The first time I did this, the whole blockchain concept became concrete in a way no explanation had quite managed before. Now this can look complicated at first, but once you know what to focus on, it's actually straightforward. So when you search a transaction, there are three things that matter most. First, the status. Is the transaction confirmed, or is it still sitting in the mempool waiting to be included in a block? The mempool is essentially a waiting room for transactions. This is where you look if your send is taking longer than expected. Second, the addresses and amounts. This is the part most people don't expect. A single Bitcoin transaction can have multiple inputs and multiple outputs. It doesn't have to be one address sending to one address. If your wallet holds Bitcoin received at different times and in different amounts, a single send might draw from several input addresses to reach the total. Like splitting a bill between a few different cards. And the output might include something called a change address. If you send less than your full balance, the leftover Bitcoin gets returned to an address your own wallet controls, like getting change back when you pay with cash. So if you search a transaction and see more addresses than you expected, that's usually why. Perfectly normal. Third, the fee. And this one is worth understanding as a practical Bitcoin user. Every transaction includes a fee paid to the miner who processes it. That fee isn't fixed. It rises when the network is busy because miners prioritize higher fees and drops when it's quiet. On a block explorer, you'll see the total fee and the fee rate in Satoshis per virtual byte. The fee rate is what determines how quickly your transaction gets picked up. Higher rate, faster confirmation. Lower rate, you wait. If your transaction is taking a while, search your TXID on mempool.space, and you'll see exactly where it sits in the queue. Now here's something worth sitting with. This is what makes Bitcoin genuinely different from anything else. When you look at a block explorer, you're not looking at a database run by a company. You're looking at a record that thousands of computers around the world have each independently verified. Every transaction has been checked by the entire network. Nobody added it without consensus. Nobody can go back and remove it. That's what trustless actually means. You don't need to trust the block explorer. You don't need to trust a bank statement. You can verify any transaction yourself from anywhere without asking anyone's permission. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. All right, let's make sure this lands clearly. Every Bitcoin transaction is permanently recorded on the public blockchain. Anyone can look it up using a block explorer like mempool.space. Three things that matter when reading a transaction: the status, confirmed, or waiting in the mempool; the addresses and amounts, including the possibility of multiple inputs and a change address; and the fee, which varies with network demand. Addresses are pseudonymous. The transaction is public. Who owns the address is not automatically linked to your identity, And everything you're reading has been independently verified by thousands of computers. No single company controls it. Nobody can alter it. It's not just a technical feature, that's the whole point. Now that you can read a transaction, the natural next question is what's actually happening inside Bitcoin when you hit send. The next video walks through the full journey, from your wallet to the blockchain, step by step. If this video made the blockchain feel real, that one makes the whole process click. Stack smart, stay curious, see you in the next stack.